Okay, we're going to see if I can make this work. So Control N, I've already done the setup. So, deep knowledge. Having deep knowledge at the start makes a massive difference because it just takes these guys out of the staging area, which makes the questing so much easier. It's one reason why I know Tactics Boromir is often liked for this quest, because you commit him to the quest for 3 attack, and then ready him, and thus remove threat from the staging area. Also, of course, just the extra card draw is always good. So, okay, I want the attack power from this. I want at least one weapon. I suppose I can get both these weapons onto Aladan. I think that's a good idea. And then I save the other resource for Hands Upon the Bow, since I've just made him ranged. That, or hold back the Rivendell Bow, and I could have played a Galvan Archer before the Deep Knowledge and dealt damage to a Harbour Thug. I think actually that may be a better choice. So I played... the Galvan Arch was in my hand before the Deep Knowledges, so I could deal that damage and then have the Deep Knowledges happen, so this damage has occurred. And then, obviously I drew the cards and got the extra resource on Mablung to play everything else. So yeah, that should be all fine. I obviously want a Dunedain Signal. Immediately onto Elrahir. Light of Valinor for Glorfindel, and that's it. No threat in the staging area, but I have to trigger the Leaping Fish. 1 enemy. Okay, 3 threat in the staging area. Quest for 2, 5, 7, 10. And we reveal Lost in the City, so that's going to be 2 city streets. It's always best to take the city streets because you obviously avoid the surge, since they're added to the staging area rather than being revealed. And they are only 2 threat and 2 quest points. They are easy Asphalloth fodder when I get Asphalloth into play. The only downside is they stop you travelling to other places. Okay, local trouble. My first attempt where I kept forgetting a forced effect on the ringleader, I had local trouble attached to Eladan, which caused some significant threat issues. But I was actually dealing with them reasonably well. I probably should have brought condition removal to actually get rid of this, but I didn't. And I still think it's best to put it on Eladan rather than Elrahir, who will be obviously more... his actions will be more needed for lots of defences, or Mablung, who will be repeatedly generating resources. If I can get a bunch of extra resources, I can just play other cards to make up for the fact that I can't use Eladan as much as I would like to. So I've added 4 more threat to the staging area. I make 3 progress. So now I obviously need to engage this Cunning Informant. Mablung gains a resource. Now, while Alcaron Scroll is attached to a hero, Cunning Informant gets +3 attack. But I'm going to get rid of the scroll. +2 attack, so that's 5 attack against 2 defense. Mablung takes 3 damage, but he lives, and the scroll has passed away. So now Oh, sorry, I should have done that to this Harbour Thug, because the one who's damaged I can just kill with Haldir. That being kind of the point. Okay, so I actually only take 1 damage. Obviously, I didn't know what all those shadow cards were. I'm just playing a bit fast and forgetting things because this is several attempts in. Because I could also have killed that Harbour Thug with Goblin Cleaver, but never mind. And Elra here is a sentinel with the Doom Divine Signal, so he will defend this. That's fine. I will attack with Elladan, raising my threat for local trouble to kill this Harbour Thug with the extra point of attack from Dagger of Westerness. I don't have a foe hammer, so that's fine. Alcon Scroll goes to the staging area. At the end of the combat phase, it attaches to the Cunning Informant. At the beginning of the refresh phase, the Cunning Informant gets a progress token added to it. Control N. Elladan just readied, so local trouble gives me an extra point of threat. It's a fairly ridiculous card, which should possibly have been taken out for Nightmare mode, but it wasn't. Okay, and there's Asphalloth, which of course I was just mentioning. So we're going to immediately remove a city street because they're the only location in the quest that has just 2 quest points. So since there's nothing else there that already has progress, it's always going to be best to just take out the 2 threat instantly. Now, I should probably save Elrahir's resource to ready him for more defending. So that's it for this deck. Over here. Okay, so now I could play the Rivendell Bow onto Elladan to enable Hands Upon the Bow. On the other hand, I could use Hands Upon the Bow with the Galvan Archer. That's also a thing. And also, Elladan has the local trouble attached to him. So I'm going to put the Rivendell Bow onto Glorfindel instead. And that will be it. I probably want to be wary about playing Gandalf, given the threat issues from local trouble. It's not out of the question. I have Glathrum's Greetings in this deck, which can be used to mitigate everything, but still want to be careful. 2 threat in the staging area. I do not have to trigger the effect from the Leaping Fish because Alcuin's Scroll is attached to an enemy, not to a hero. Request for 2, 4, 7, 9, 12. And we reveal local trouble again. I don't have a test of will, do I? No. No test of will. Okay. Well, I guess it's going on Mablung. And Umbar Assassin takes damage from Tharlin. So that's 4 threat added to the staging area. So we make 6 progress. Leaping Fish goes to the victory display. I have to travel to the city street, which is fine. Can I actually deal with the Umbar Assassin? Well, I have a feint in hand. So, basically, yes. So I will engage the Umbar Assassin. I will not trigger Mablung to gain a resource because I don't want to raise my threat for local trouble. 2 points of archery I will put onto Haldir. Oh, because of course I optionally engaged the Umbar Assassin, I have to deal 3 damage to a hero. I'll put it on Elladan. Elra here will defend against the Cunning Informant, and I will feint the Assassin. So no damage is done. So we'll declare a ranged attack for 6 with Glorfindel and Haldir to kill the Umbar Assassin. Elladan will attack for 4, raising my threat for local trouble, and kill the Cunning Informant. Alcron's Scroll goes to the staging area. An advantage of getting local trouble is that, of course, it's a treachery, which It doesn't add threat to the staging area. It's not another enemy that you have to fight. And it doesn't surge. So actually getting it early on, in some ways, I mean, it just gives me the risk that I will threat out later, but it means that I've had a very gentle start in terms of questing and combat, which means I'm probably actually okay. So, control N, I get 2 extra points of threat for local trouble, so I don't really want to be doing anything with these 2 heroes for the rest of the game, if possible. Okay, I don't want to play Gandalf. Rivendell Bow. I will play the Rivendell Bow onto Eladan, so I have the option of Hands Upon the Bow if it comes up. But I probably, of course, want to avoid that. Over here, I don't have a test of will, so it's totally fine for me to play this Unexpected Courage onto Haldir. Because apparently I just moved damage from Haldir to the Unexpected Courage. I didn't mean to do that. So let's... Okay. Dragging tokens always seems to not work properly for me. Yeah, so the Unexpected Courage could be better on Eladan in principle, because Eladan has more attack with the Dagger of Westerness, and obviously I want this for extra questing power, mostly, but Eladan has the local trouble attached. I suppose that would be a possible argument for me having put a local trouble onto Elra here, that I have Elrond's councils on this side of the table and a lower starting threat, but whatever, we'll deal with it one way or another, hopefully. So, no threat in the staging area. The leaping fish is in the victory display, so I don't have to worry about that. Quest for 2, 5, 7, 10, 13. That should be fine. Market Square, and Zealous Traitor takes damage from Tharlin. So that's 5 threat. I make 8 progress. I may as well asphalt the city street. And we advance the quest. During the fight in the tavern, one of your adversaries managed to grab Alcaron's scroll and flee outside. You chase the thief into the street where you are surrounded by a gang of his fellow brigands. You must fight your way through the mob and recover the scroll. And... okay, right. It's just being a bit slow. Battle can't advance to the next stage unless Alcaron's scroll is attached to a hero, and when revealed, attach Alcaron's scroll to the highest engagement cost enemy in play. If able, otherwise return it to the staging area. I can travel to the market square by spending resources, and I will optionally engage the Zealous Traitor here, since this deck has no allies in play. Defend with Elra here, and attack and easily kill the traitor. In fact, I will only attack with Haldir, since he's all that's needed, and then I will exhaust Glorfindel to pick up the scroll. And I managed to get through that round without using Mablung or Eladan, which is great. So my threats remaining under control. Okay, have I lost... no, I have not lost any allies, so stand and fight is not relevant. You kind of see my point at this point about how local trouble sort of gave me a very gentle start, and so I'm quite possibly just going to make it through this pretty easily. Actually, before I play that, I will play Campfire Tales. Okay, I will not play the second Campfire Tales because I want to have enough resources for Steward of Gondor if it turns up, but I will now play the Ithilien Tracker. And over here I will put Mighty Prowess onto Eladan, because I may as well, and it might come up at some point. And that'll be it. As noted, I don't want to play Gandalf because of my threat problems. Local Trouble basically is the one card in this encounter deck that I completely forgot about. I just forgot that it existed. If I'd remembered, maybe I would have included either Power of Orthanc or Miners of the Iron Hills in this deck, just for that. But as it is, I'm having the interesting situation of just having to deal with it. So 2, 5, 7, 10, 13, ignoring the first enemy that's revealed. Pelargir Alley, while Alcaron Scroll is not attached to a hero, it is, and Harbour Root takes damage from Tharlan. When revealed, if Alcaron Scroll is attached to an enemy, it's not. And he does not count as threat because of the tracker. So 2 threat, I make 11 progress. I'll Asphalloth the Alley. 1. And obviously travel to the alley. Engage the Brute. Do them a shadow card. And actually, I can just use these 2 copies of Goblin Cleaver, exhausting the 2 weapons on Eladan, to straight up kill him before he attacks. So I'm going to do that. And Control N. Still not using Mablung or Eladan to do anything. Another Warden of Healing. Okay, Dagger of Westerness I will play onto Haldir. And that'll be it. Over here, I can play Campfire Tales. Alright. And then I will play the Errand Rider. Move a resource from Glorfindel to Haldir and play a Warden of Healing. Once again, empty staging area. Quest for 2, 5, 7, 10, 14. Now, ignoring the first enemy revealed. Valkyron's Scroll is attached to a hero. Choose an enemy engaged with that hero's controller if able. There is no enemy engaged. So that's just Surge and nothing else. Lost Knight Bandit takes 1 damage, doesn't count its threat. Still no enemies engaged. No enemies engaged, so more Surge. Valkyron Scroll is attached to an enemy, so Surge. Cunning Informant takes a point of damage, does count its threat, so that's 3 threat in the staging area. I make 11 progress. This is explored. I advance the quest, since I do have Alcaron's scroll. You've recovered the scroll, but are still outnumbered by our determined foes. Lord Alcaron shouts for you to escape and deliver the scroll before he flees to summon the city guard. If you can get to your ship, you can escape the clutches of these desperate thugs. When revealed, each player searches the encounter deck and discard pile for 1 enemy and adds it to the staging area. So I think we take the Harbour Thugs, because they are relatively easy to deal with. And of course we are no longer battle questing, except that I have trained for war in hand, so that's fine. That's fine. Enemies cannot be optionally engaged. The first enemy revealed from the encounter deck each round makes an immediate attack against the player who controls Alcaron's scroll from the staging area. Players cannot defeat the stage unless Alcaron's scroll is attached to a hero. If the players defeat this stage, they have won the game. Okay. So, my threat is okay, relatively. So I could do a hands upon the bow at this point. So I think I'm going to do a hands upon the bow. Since I'm exhausting Eladan, this means we'll immediately pull down these two harbour. Oh no, no. This is not the deck with Alcaron's scroll, so raising its threat doesn't matter. Well, I'm still going to do this. And let's kill the Cunning Informant. And trigger Foe Hammer. And trigger the second Foe Hammer. Okay. And with this many enemies, I think I do want to actually trigger Eladan's ability, raising my threat by 1, and readying him, raising my threat by 1. And okay. Now I have noiseless movement, but not a resource to play it, so I can't avoid this deck engaging an enemy. So, okay. I want the bandit to end up over here, so we'll optionally engage. Oh no, there are no optional engagements at this point. So I have no choice. It ends up like this, and I lose 2 resources from each hero. Okay. So let's just use a feint. And no, I couldn't have gotten myself below the engagement cost. Oh, when I killed the where was it? Cunning Informant. Yep, it's a brigand, so I could trigger Mighty Prowess to deal 1 damage to the Lost Knuck Bandit. So I think I have to do it like this. Defending player discards all resources. Well, I don't have any, so that's fine. Take 1 damage, and of course I have to raise my threat by 1 because I exhausted Mablung. Over here will defend this. Attacking enemy gets +2. Take 2 damage. So let's heal over here in Mablung. Now yeah. Gonna take more threat. Oh no, wait. It would be 1 for exhausting him, 2 more for readying both of them. I can't use Eladan at this point. If I'd actually figured this out in advance, I would have realized, therefore, that this meant I couldn't ready him. I would have still lost the resource, but that would mean 2 less points of threat. because I didn't trigger his ability and I didn't ready him. So I'm going to allow myself that retcon. I could have made these calculations about where my defenses and attacks were going to be needed if I'd actually put any thought into it. But yeah, he still doesn't have any resources because of this shadow effect. So, okay, that means Haldir can attack for 4 and kill. Let's kill this Harbour Thug, and Glorfindel attacks for 3 at range. And that's not quite enough, but okay. We'll go with that. Actually, no, we'll make it the Harbour Thug over here that has the damage. Haldir can kill the one over there. Okay, so Control N, and 2 extra points of threat for readying my 2 local trouble heroes. Darren's Runes. Found a Greeting. Don't have a test of will, so I may as well immediately... actually, no. No, I think... I'm not sure, because I might want to play Noiseless Movement. Normally I would just move Haldir's resource and save Elrahir's for more defenses. Well, I possibly Steward of Gondor next round, if there is a next round, but most likely just more defenses would be the main point. But I might want Noiseless Movement to just avoid engaging an enemy. Over here, I will pay 1 for a Vassal of the Windlord, and that'll be it. So, there is no threat in the staging area. I exhaust the Athelian Tracker, so the first enemy will not count as threat. And request for oh, and I play Trained for War. So we are battle questing. So 2, 5, 8, 10, 13, 17. Yes, this quest is not naturally a battle quest, but I'm making it one. So, yep, that's all I can really do. We reveal Pelargir Alley and Dockside Street. That's 4 threat. I make 13 progress. I don't think there's any way I could increase that. No? Elrond's Council, obviously pointless because I made it a battle quest. I don't need to play Noiseless Movement because I didn't reveal any enemies. So I do this, and we're now down at 41 threat. So this is fine. We will exhaust Asphalloth to put 2 progress on the alley. And exhaust Glorfindel to travel to Dockside Street, I think. Deal shadow cards. Now, I did not engage an enemy this round, so I can trigger Haldir. I am engaged with an enemy, but that's not what actually matters. So yeah, we're going to do that. Just kill this Losnak bandit. And Elrahir will defend this Harbour Thug and ready afterwards. Attacking enemy gets +2 attack, so that's 5 against 3, 2 damage. heal him and Mablong. And then Elrahir can attack for 2 and kill the Harpathog. So, control N. Computer just slowed down a bit there, but we are okay. I've found a test of will, that's great. And okay, so let's put this Bow of the Glathrim onto Haldir. And I need the other 2 resources for Trained for War. Meanwhile, over here, there's nothing really for me to play. Except I guess I will move a resource from Elrahir to Haldir and play another Warden of Healing. But probably I'm just going to win the quest at this point. So, there is 2 threat in the staging area. I play Trained for War and exhaust the Athelian Tracker. And then we quest for 2, 5, 8, 10, 13, 18 attack committed to the quest. Actually, in retrospect, I should have put the progress here, though it probably won't matter. Zealous Traitor takes damage from Tharlin, makes an immediate attack against the player who controls Alcaron's scroll. Okay. I defend. Return attacking into the staging area after it attacks. That's obviously fine. And he doesn't count as threat. Bedlam in the streets. Each player must either remove a hero he controls from the quest or engage an enemy in the staging area. Each enemy engaged by this effect makes an immediate attack. Well, I could easily lose 5 attack from the quest. Exhaust Asphalt to put 2 more progress on here. Use both my Wardens. Heal up the twins, leaving only 3 damage on the board. Play both copies of Elrond's Council to drop my threat down to 28. I definitely should have considered putting a local trouble onto Elrahir. Could have been safer, but never mind. So, yeah, we are now 13 against 2. I make 11 progress. And I win the quest. So, yeah, Local Trouble is a bit of a ridiculous card, but still manageable. In some ways, it's ridiculous in 2 ways, because the amount of threat it gives you is excessive. Although I managed to deal with it, it still feels like something I shouldn't have to jump through so many hoops to deal with. But at the same time, as I pointed out, it doesn't add threat to the staging area, and it doesn't give you more enemies to fight, so your questing and combat are fine. So in some ways, it made things easier. So it would make a lot of sense to take this out of the deck to make the general experience more consistent, which is something that I think they do strive for in the Nightmare decks, and that's why they took out Collateral Damage from this encounter deck, which was another incredibly random card that could hugely skew the way a playthrough went, depending on whether you revealed it and when you revealed it, and what happened as a result of you revealing it. Yeah, I had more difficulty with this than I was expecting with these decks. It's very much, once they get going, they're absolutely fine. If they don't get a chance to get going, then things can just go horribly wrong, and sometimes I can just threat out is also a problem. But I'm still pretty pleased with how this went. I still enjoy this much more than a lot of the earlier Nightmares. I do still hold that this was a definite uptick in the quality of the Nightmare decks. So, this is done. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, please consider supporting me on Patreon, and goodbye.